What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here with the Playbook Sports Podcast. My name is Colin. I am here to preview this Sunday's matchup in Philadelphia with your Dallas Cowboys going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in the link on Sunday at 3:25 Central.
Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Goldfine and Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video.
Looking at these two teams, huge matchup, not only division-wise, not only ego-wise, but just a huge matchup overall. NFC playoff seedings, division record, division potential winning on the line in this game. Eagles come into this game 7-1. Dallas is 5-2 on the year. They're a game and a half behind Philly since Philly has not had their bye week yet. First matchup of two this year between these two teams. Of course, it's always in Philly for the first matchup. And what honestly looks like a must win for the Dallas Cowboys in this one. You lose this game, you're going to be 2.5 behind the Eagles. And you're going to be 5-3 right there with the Niners as well with the same record. And the Eagles are running away with the 1 seed and running away with the division. This is a huge game for Dallas. Still a big game for Philly as well, but more of a must win for Dallas. If you had to ask me which team needs this game more, obviously both teams need it. But I think the Cowboys in this spot, as far as their season has gone so far, they got to make up ground with Philly and they got to do it early. Looking at both teams here, both teams' offenses average 28 points a game. Pretty good. Dallas's defense gives up 17 a game, whereas Philly gives up 21.5 a game. So Dallas's defense scoring-wise has been a little bit better than Philly's. Dallas posting a plus 77 point differential. The Phillies plus 52. We've talked about it extensively, as has all the talking heads in the media. Yes, Philadelphia keeps on winning. You can't blame them for winning, but they really haven't looked all that dominant in their wins. I would argue their best win is over Miami Dolphins a couple Sundays ago on Sunday Night Football. Won that game 31-17. Dolphins down 2 of their top corners, down 3 offensive linemen. And it was tied 17-17 in the fourth. But the Eagles, here they came, and they went 14-0 the rest of the way, winning the game 31-17. Not knocking a victory, but they haven't looked all that sharp in their games yet this year. And I'm scared that this is going to be the first time the Eagles look like they did last year, this year. Looking at the two teams offensively, both really good. Offensively on third down, Dallas is 48% conversion to Philadelphia's 50%. So Philly's a little bit better on third down than Dallas is. But Dallas is much better defensively on third down, only allowing conversions on 34.5% of the opponent's third down attempts to Philly's 43%. So they're about 10% better on third down defensively. Philly averages about 30 more passing yards a game, about 15 more rushing yards a game. So do the math there. They average about 45 to 50 more yards than Dallas does. Huge stat here as well between the two teams. Dallas is a +6 in the turnover differential, and it really shows in the game as they win. They're 5-2 this year, and they're 5 wins. I wish I had the numbers for the plus minus, but it seems like in all their 5 wins, they not only take care of the ball or limit their own turnovers, but they also take it away a couple times and even return a couple for touchdowns as well. So Dallas is +6 turnover. Philly is -3. They're just not taking the ball away at the same rate they did last year, not getting as much sacks at the same rate, but they're still really good up front. Philadelphia is always going to be good up front. They just draft so well, and something about that leadership in the locker room, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, bringing all these young Georgia guys on that D-line, and they're going to mold them into some seasoned vets. Let's compare the quarterbacks here. Dak Prescott, 71% completion, a little over 1,600 yards passing, 10 tuds to 5 picks, 3 of those 5 coming in one game. And then a 97.8 passer rating on the season on a scale of 1 to 158.3. In comparison, Jalen Hurts, 68% completion, a little over about 2,150 yards, 13 tuds passing, 8 interceptions passing, 44.3 rating. Dak, a little bit better completion percentage, Hurts more yards. However, the Eagles haven't had their bye. Dallas has, so those 500 more yards. Dak's not going out to throw him for 500. So Hurts has probably been about 200 to 250 yards better through the same amount of games played. And then Hurts has 3 more touchdowns, 3 more picks. And then Dak has a slightly better passer rating. So really, they've been about the same quarterback strictly from the passing side. Obviously, Jalen Hurts has more rushing upside than Dak, including more rushing touchdowns and more rushing attempts yards, all 9. However, Dak Prescott has been a lot more mobile in the last few weeks. I love Dallas rolling him out, letting him run, and Dak Prescott himself realizing that nothing's open. Let's not force something down the field. Let's go ahead and take off, get the first down, get out of bounds, get down, try to protect yourself as much as possible. Comparing the running backs here, Tony Pollard, 3.9 yards a carry, about a little over 60 yards per game rushing, 2 touchdowns on the season through 7 games is really underwhelming. Tony Pollard, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 fumble lost. DeAndre Swift on the other side, 4.9 yards per carry. He's averaging almost 5 yards per carry. That is insanity. Doesn't only talk about how good he has been, but talks about how good that Philadelphia front is at getting him open holes to run through and pulling and allowing him to find his spot and bursting through it. A little over 71 per game rushing, 3 rushing touchdowns, 0 fumbles on the year. Been great taking care of the ball. And it's been really a great pickup for Philadelphia. Another one of these low risk, high reward pickups that Howie Roseman just seems to do before the year, after the year, during the year. It doesn't matter. Howie Roseman always seems to get it done. Looking at the 2 big weapons here for the Dallas Cowboys. First one is CeeDee Lamb, averaging about 14 yards per catch, about 90 a game, 3 receiving touchdowns, 29 catches for first downs. No other Dallas Cowboys receiving target averages more than 34 yards per game. CeeDee Lamb averages 90. And no other target has more than 12 first down catches. CeeDee Lamb has 29. So it's really apparent who Dak Prescott not only likes to throw the ball to more, but has more success throwing the ball to more. It all goes through that number 88, and we're going to need a lot of that 4 to 88 on Sunday as well. Other side, A.J. Brown, arguably player of the year, offensively player of the year. He's only about 65 yards behind Tyreek Hill, about 3 tugs behind Tyreek Hill as well. So yes, Tyreek's on a historic rate, but A.J. Brown has had the best year of his career by far, and he looks damn good doing it. A little over 15 and a half yards per catch, about 117 a game. That is ridiculous. 117 yards per game, 5 tugs on the year, 43 catches for first downs. The next 2 targets here for Philly, Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert, they average 60 yards and 45 yards per game. I lost train of thought. A.J. Brown himself averages more than those 2 combined. Those 2 combined on the year have 18 catches for first downs and 21 catches for first down. A.J. Brown has 43. So A.J. Brown averages more yards per game than Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert combined, and has more first down catches on the year than those 2 combined as well. So a huge spot here for Dallas is, are they going to put Stephon Gilmore, the seasoned vet, on A.J. Brown? Are they going to have safeties shading over the top at all times? Are they going to let Deron Bland, the young stud, the young 5th round pick, 3 pick 6 touchdowns, 4 picks on the year for 5th round talent from last year? Insane year. It really hurts me that they don't have Trayvon Diggs healthy all season here. Because can you imagine a defensive backfield of Bland, Diggs, and Gilmore? Holy cow. That would be insane. So let's go ahead and get into the X factors. Now that we've talked about the team stats, the individual player stats, let's get into the offense and defensive X factors for both teams going into this game. Let's start with the road team, my Dallas Cowboys. Osa Odighizuwa has been, I can't praise him enough, and you can't talk about him enough. On a star-studded team, a star-studded defense, he's the guy that gets overlooked the most. He plays the interior of the line. So D-Law on the outside with Micah Parsons on the outside gets a lot of the glamour, gets a lot of the hype and talk about, rightfully so. 2 great players in their own right. But Odighizuwa has been the defensive tackle that Mozzie Smith was supposed to be that Dallas drafted, and he has been the staple of consistency this season for the Dallas Cowboys. 24 tackles in 7 games, 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. The numbers don't jump off the page as far as statistics compared to the impact he has had on the interior of the Dallas defensive line. I think he's going to play a huge role this Sunday. We all know the Eagles like to run the ball. It's what they're the most successful thing doing. Swift averages over 5 a carry. We all know about the tush-push play. The interior of the Dallas defensive line is going to have to get some push and get some stops interior and make Philly have to throw the ball more than they want to, because if Philly is successful running the ball against you, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. So the offensive X factor here for the Dallas Cowboys, it's Brandon Cooks. We've seen the last couple of weeks, Philadelphia went out, got Kevin Byard to try to bolster up their defensive backfield. Reed Blankenship's back from injury. You looked last week, Sam Howell had 400 yards passing on him. John Dotson's running deep. Terry McLaurin's running deep. Brandon Cooks was supposed to be this deep threat that Dallas brought him in to be. Can Dallas get him the ball? He's played a lot better the last few games. However, he only has 16 catches on 27 targets for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns in 6 games played. 158 yards and 16 catches in 6 games. Not a great year so far for Brandon Cooks. He's only getting targeted 4.5 times a game, which is terrible. He's only getting about 4.5 or 2.5 catches a game on those 4.5 targets, averaging 26.3 receiving yards per game. 26.3 receiving yards per game. We're going to need a lot more than that from Brandon Cooks on Sunday against Philadelphia if Dallas wants to come out victorious. Let's head on over to Philly side. Let's talk about their defensive X factor here. And I've already mentioned them. It's Reed Blankenship. And it's really easy to say. I try to dig deep with these. I don't want to go, okay, Dak Prescott's going to be an X factor. Okay, Micah Parsons. I don't want to do it super obvious. I want to kind of find the diamond in the rough guy who's going to make the difference. We know Dak's going to have to be good. We know Micah's going to have to be good. We know Fletcher Cox is going to have to be good. Hassan Reddick's going to have to be good. But Reed Blankenship, in my opinion, is maybe the biggest player on the on the Eagles defense this Sunday. Their pass game has not been great defensively. James Bradbury looks awful. We can talk about that later. But Reed Blankenship here, he's missed 2 games with injury, still leads the Eagles in tackles with 48, still leads the Eagles secondary and passes defense with 8 pass breakups. And he's tied with the team lead in 2 interceptions. All of those team leads are tied with the team leads in 2 less games than a lot of the other guys on this list of Philadelphia Eagles defenders. Give me Reed Blankenship to make a difference on Sunday against my Dallas Cowboys to help the Eagles win this game. And then offensive X factor, I already talked about him as well. This is probably my most obvious of the 4 here. It's DeAndre Swift. I talked about how Philly gets rolling. If their run game is going and you can't stop it, you're done. You're done in the water. DeAndre Swift averaging 4.9 yards per carry on the year is very good. 71.4 yards a game. Here's where it's been disappointing. Those first couple weeks, yes, against the Patriots, week 1, he didn't do a lot. Week 2, week 3, he had 175 rushing and then 130 rushing against the Bucs and Vikings. So over 300 yards rushing in those 2 games. He hasn't gone over 70 yards in the 5 games since week 3. Had 175 week 2, 130 week 3, and I think he had 70 in week 5 or week 6, but he hasn't gone over 70 in the last 5 games. I think he's going to have to do that against Dallas. Every year, it seems like when Dallas plays these big opponents, normally they run it down Dallas's throat and they just can't stop it. Sadly, I think this is kind of what Sunday is shaping out to be. I think Philly's O-line flexes their muscles and show that they're just that good and shows that they're the best offensive line in football, and they run the ball behind it consistently, and DeAndre Swift here as an X factor is going to have to step up for that Philly offense. So let's dive into the 5 keys for a Dallas Cowboys victory on Sunday in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Number 1, I'm going to keep preaching it and keep preaching it and keep preaching it. Red zone offense. You have to convert. You have to get 6 and 7s. You can't settle for 0s and 3s in the red zone. Last week against the Rams, Dallas played a great game. A lot of people saying it was their best game all around this season so far. Offense looked really good. Defense looked really good. Special teams looked really good. They still went 2 for 4 in the red zone. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Or no, 2 touchdowns, 1 field goal. Dak threw a pick on a pass that was tipped twice, but however, it was already behind the tight end. Not a great throw. Not a great throw. Not a great play overall. Red zone offense. I will keep preaching it. Red zone offense. Need touchdowns. Number 2 key to victory here is just plain and simple. Win the turnover margin. Normally the team that takes the ball away more and takes better care of the ball ultimately ends up winning the game. This year, for some reason, it seems like Jalen Hurts is a little more susceptible to the turnover bug in comparison to last year and the year before. He already has more turnovers this year than he did all of last season through 8 games. Hopefully, Dallas can continue that trend. Their defense can continue to take the ball away, giving their offense more opportunities and shorter fields to operate in. Number 3 here, continue to look for 88. 4 to 88. Dak to CeeDee Lamb. Let me pull up the stats here. First 5 games of the season, CeeDee Lamb had 27 receptions for 358 yards and 1 touchdown. First 5 games, 27, 358, and 1. The last 2 games, 19 receptions, 275, and 2 tuds. So he's had 8 less catches and about 75 less yards and 1 more tud in 5 less games. Obviously, Dallas has made it a point against the Rams, and then going back to the Chargers game, we have to get CeeDee Lamb touches. We have to get him the ball. He is one of the best playmakers on this team. Get your guy the ball. He wears the number 88 for a reason. 88 club is sacred in Dallas. You give the guy 88, you know he's a baller. Give 88 the ball. Number 4 here, straight up double A.J. Brown. Make somebody else beat you. I read off the stats earlier. A.J. Brown averages himself individually more yards a game, more first downs converted than the next 2 receiving options for Philadelphia. Take A.J. Brown away. It's easier said than done. physical specimen, great receiver. And if you double him, somebody else is more than likely going to be open, but your other guy's got a hole up in the back end. I don't know if I want Stephon Gilmore on A.J. Brown or if I want Deron Bland on him. It's going to be a tough matchup on Sunday. Hopefully they give each guy several reps and ultimately make the adjustment and go with whoever is winning more reps against A.J. Brown. But I just want him double. Make somebody else do it. If you come out and double him right away and Philly's gashing you everywhere else, maybe you make an adjustment. But don't let A.J. Brown come out and beat you from the start. All right, fifth and final key to a Dallas victory is you have to limit the third and fourth and shorts against Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni said it in a press conference a few days ago, or I think it was after the Miami game. It's really 1st and 9 for Philly, sometimes 1st and 8. You know, if they get to a 3rd and 2, a 3rd and 1, a 4th and 2, a 4th and 1, that tush-push play is probably coming. So if you can hold Philly to 3rd down and 3, 4th down and 3, or higher yards to go, I like Dallas's chances here. That tush push is like 92%, 91% for a reason. And now they're running different variations of it. They're running little counters to Swift around the outside for touchdowns on tush pushes. It's a scary play. There's a lot of things you could do with that play. It's so elementary. It hurts the brain, but it's so good and it works so effectively that it's hard to like fathom how simple of a play it is, but how effective of a play it is. And Philly has mastered it with the Kelsey rest of the line combo, and then Hurts being a physical specimen as he is, mixed with the push from behind. So if you can hold Philly to 3rd and 4th down and less than 2 or 3 yards to go, I like Dallas as much in this game as possible. Don't let Philly tush push their way for 1st down after 1st down. All right, meat and potatoes here. I gave you the appetizer. I gave you the greens. Here come the meat and potatoes. Final score prediction for this Sunday game for my Dallas Cowboys going to Philadelphia Eagles. Final score, Philadelphia 27, Dallas 23. Sadly, I think Philadelphia gets the better of Dallas here. I think these two teams split. They do it almost every single year. I know Dak Prescott's 8-3 against the Eagles in his career. There's been some games where one of those 3 losses, he only threw the ball 8 times and the rest of the game. A couple of those wins for him, the Eagles weren't playing anybody either. Record's not a quarterback stat anyway, so I hated how much national media they got this year, or this week, I should say. I will say this, though. I saw the statistic, and I think this does mean a little something. Maybe it just means how bad the NFC East has been in Dak Prescott's career. In division games since 2017, Dak Prescott is 25-4. 25-4 against the NFC East. Only person better than that is Patrick Mahomes, who's 29-4 against the AFC West. So 4 more wins for Mahomes, same amount of losses. 25-4 against the East. That is insane. For as good as Philly is and as good as they're talked about being, 25-4. Wow, I thought Dak Prescott was trash. But I do have Philly winning this game. It was my mortal lock in our podcast. I don't like Dallas's odds going to Philly, sadly. But who knows? We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Did not have a recap video of the Rams game last week. Some equipment issues here, technical difficulties. Couldn't find some key equipment I needed, some essentials to record. However, I will have one after this game for you guys. So stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys. Go Cowboys. Beat them Eagles. Cry, Eagles, cry on the road to misery.